Welcome to this edition of the Lee Summit Rundown. I'm Laura Ingeman. Have you ever wondered what can be recycled and what can't be? I sure do. Let's find out more at the Lee Summit Resource Recovery Park.
Well, the best program we have for people that don't have curbside service is our recycling drop-off center, which is at the Resource Recovery Park, 2101 Southeast Hamlin Road. They're open 6 days a week, and they take cardboard, plastics 1 and 2, paperboard, tin, aluminum, all different kinds of glass, and mixed office, which is magazines and files and newspaper, junk mail. All those services are free, and you don't even have to be a Lee Summit resident. It's open to anybody in the metro area. We just ask that people go to the city's website, or they could go to recyclespot.org, and they will give you a list of all the companies and the hours and the phone numbers of places that recycle that type of material. And it's a great resource for people. If you're trying to recycle plastic bags, where can you take them? A lot of people put them in your curbside bin. They don't belong in the curbside bin. Those you have to take back to big box stores like Walmart or Target or Lowe's, and they have a container. A lot of grocery stores have a container in the front. You bring in your plastic bags and they'll recycle them for you. We have a hazardous waste facility, a drop-off facility. It's one of only 2 on this side of the state line in the metro. Kansas City has the other, and Lee Summit participates in that. We have our contractor provide that service, and you just call them to make an appointment. It's 550-1612. And that's Casey Dumpster, who manages that service for us. We do have a lot of services at the Resource Recovery Park. We've got electronics recycling, so anything with a cord can be recycled down there. There is a fee with that. You can bring in tires to be recycled. There's a fee with that, with all these the extra services, not the drop-off center. Mattresses and box springs are recycled. They disassemble them, recycle the components. The box springs, they bring back the lumber to us, and our contractor grinds up that lumber and makes mulch out of it and sells it back to the public. So sort of a closed loop there. We've got brush and yard waste services that are recycled. The yard waste is turned into compost, which is once again sold out back to the public. The brush recycling includes Christmas trees this time of year. They accept Christmas trees for $5, and they grind up that material and make mulch out of it. Appliances is another item that they recycle out there. Refrigerators, washers and dryers, there's a fee associated with it, but they do recycle that metal, and then they do scrap metal, and then they do cardboard also down at the public disposal area, the Resource Recovery Park. And we know that about 1,000 citizens per month use the drop-off center, so it's getting some good use. The city does 2 events per year, which we call Recycle Fest. And we do it once in the spring for Earth Day, and we do it once in the fall, which is right around America Recycles Day, which is November 15th. And those two functions are designed to recycle things that people normally don't recycle. Unusual things like wine corks, keys, prescription eyeglasses, prescription bottles. We actually reuse the bottles at the local animal shelters. It keeps down their overhead. They don't have to buy new prescription bottles. We have usually between 200 and 300 people that come, and they bring a lot of materials. A lot of people have tennis balls just sitting around in the garage. Those get donated to animal shelters for dogs to play with. Golf balls are recycled. If people are cleaning out their garage in the spring or the fall, you know, they may have a bucket of golf balls that they used to play, or they're old. Those get donated, sent over to charity, so we reuse as many items as we can. We've had some unusual items. People have brought in a swing set and tried to put it in the metal recycling bin, which was for cans and containers, so that didn't work out well. People put rubber hoses in the plastic recycling bin. Rubber hoses do not belong in recycling bins, really of any kind. There's no market to recycle them, so they just go in the trash, unfortunately. We've had a coworker ask us if he can recycle his wife's meatloaf.
Can we get some meatloaf?
That's not a go. We don't do that.
Big changes are ahead for the 50 Highway and 291 North Corridor in Lee Summit. Here's all the information on the highway makeover.
It's a complete reconstruction of the 291 North Interchange. The problem is that the interchange is over 50 years old, and MoDOT doesn't have the funds to do much of anything except resurface the bridge if they were to do anything on their own. So the city has worked on a partnership with MoDOT and several other state agencies and other partners to arrange for a complete reconstruction of the interchange, and that includes moving Blue Parkway, which is located to the north of the interchange, farther to the north. One of the main problems with the interchange and its functionality is Blue Parkway is too close to the interchange, and so over the years that has caused many traffic problems, high degree of traffic incidents. It's, of all the major intersections in the city, it has the highest incident of traffic incidents. So it's a very important project for the city and the state to address. Going into the project, we knew that we had to have separate coordination with Missouri Department of Transportation, MoDOT, with Missouri Highway Patrol, the Office of Administration, which is a state agency that handles the funding for the Missouri Highway Patrol, and then some of the other entities that are associated with geographically with the area, such as the school district, and integration of the project with the Lee Summit High School campus and the improvements that are happening on the campus. And then also coordination with Quick Trip on the east side of 291 North that is planning on moving their store to a new location as part of this overall change in the configuration of the interchange. And so we've had to deal with multiple parties, and we have arranged for contracts with each of those parties, and the city's sort of the go-between amongst all those entities to make the project happen. The schedule going forward under the cost share agreement is the design of the interchange will happen in 2022, and then it's projected that construction will happen starting in 2023 and finishing in fall to late 2024. So if everything goes as planned, we should have a new interchange by the end of 24. At this point, the city has a preferred configuration, which we've shown to the City Council in our presentations. It doesn't look like the roundabout arrangement at 291 South. It's more of a traditional ramp arrangement that you see with most interchanges, so it doesn't have the roundabout feature. But we do have a preferred design going into the project, and that's what will be reviewed further through the public input process as the design starts in 2022. Substantial benefits to, first and foremost, traffic safety and traffic circulation. As I mentioned, the fact that Blue Parkway is too close to the interchange causes a lot of congestion, which has led to a lot of traffic incidents. And by moving Blue Parkway and expanding the capacity for the interchange, should relieve the traffic congestion, should reduce the number of traffic incidents, both collisions and number of injuries. Better circulation for the high school, so traffic going to and coming from the high school, that should be much improved for the benefit of the students and the school district. And then with the redevelopment opportunities that this will open up after the Troop A facility moves to a new location in the city, that will open up about a 4-acre parcel for development of commercial development right there at the northwest quadrant of the interchange. And the hope is, for the long term, with the improved interchange and improved traffic circulation, a lot of the businesses along that corridor could experience some redevelopment. So the hope is, over time, you'll see some improved commercial development along the corridor, extending north along 291, possibly all the way to several major intersections to the north. So the hope is a lot of redevelopment along the corridor.
It's time for a council member spotlight. Meet Councilmember Andrew Felker.
Running for office was not necessarily something I had planned to do, but I thought of doing. My children and I used to make frequent trips inside City Hall during piano practice. There was something of a desire to say, okay, this seems like a neat thing to do, to be a part of that. I'd always wanted to be involved with the community. Before I ran for office, I tried to get involved with things relating to the community, the Chamber of Commerce and other volunteer organizations. So being involved in the community was something I wanted to do. And when the opportunity came up, I thought, well, let's see what happens. And I said, well, I think this is something I'd like to do. I'd like to be able to be a part of the community, to provide my time and expertise. I thought I could be a contributing voice to the council, and it's been a learning experience ever since. My first thought of what do I want to accomplish, I want to make sure I'm representing what the people have elected me to do. Sometimes that means trying to find out what they want to have happen in a certain situation or when a certain matter comes up, and so you listen and you try to learn both from your constituents and from the people advocating for a certain course of action. And so then trying to just work through and reason to the best solution possible. When I think of what I enjoy doing, I just enjoy working with people. Just learning what's important to my neighbor down the street or someone in a neighborhood close by, that process of just hearing from them, even if they're complaining and they don't like what's happened, maybe we've already voted on something, the first reading or first step of the process, and they learn about it and they come to me and complain. I somewhat enjoy the process of dialoguing with them to both understand what they really want to accomplish, what they really would like to see happen, and also advocating sometimes for what we've already done and what maybe I might feel differently about that. So that communication, that opportunity to work with the constituent who has an issue, I find that an enjoyable experience. I also just enjoy trying to understand the process of the issues in front of us. So trying to get to the bottom of what is really going on here, and is this really the best solution? Are there things that we could do differently or do better? And that's my goal when I'm looking at a matter is, something that's being presented to council is, I'm going to take something of a skeptical view because I want to be able to, at the end of the day, make sure what we end up with is going to be the best thing for the city. When I think of my contributions to the council, I don't have any big initiative that I can say I was behind that and was the one who pushed it forward. But what I think I do, and I think I do well, is ask questions and try to understand what's important for the council to understand, and what's important for, if my neighbor's listening in on a city council meeting, I want them to know that the question they would be asking if they were there is being asked by somebody so that they can get that answer. It is a lot of work and there's a lot of information. It is a city of 100,000 plus people, and we have a lot going on. We have a great city staff, and so the work that is being done before I even open up my email or click on the link for the information that we're going to review for council, or when I show up, there's a lot of work that's gone into that. And so I respect that work, and if there's a surprise, it's probably the volume, just kind of confronting that, seeing that has been somewhat eye-opening, and I don't think that I would have understood that before, just how much work is being done on a day-to-day basis. Outside of work, my time and interests, it's going to be one of my child's activities. If I can find some time to go on a date with my wife, with Sarah, I'd love to spend time doing that. After that, being outdoors, again, it's often with family or friends. I'd like to be able to do that as much as I can. So, I love the idea of the people of Lee Summit being more involved in the community. And when I think, well, what can someone do to be more involved? By all means, call and ask your city council members, is there some way you can help? Because we might know of a committee or a council or a commission that needs a person to step in and be a contributor. So that's one way I think people can get involved. And then there are so many different ways to be involved in our community when it comes to volunteering for some wonderful nonprofit organizations that are serving, if you will, in the trenches with whatever's going on in our community, or those who are involved from a business perspective, involving yourself with the chamber or with the EDC. I think those are great ways just to get to know people and also to further understand ways that you can contribute. Volunteer for your homeowners association. Some might think that's not a glamorous thing, but that's one thing I did early on, and it's one way to get to know some important things. It helps you understand kind of what's going on behind the scenes, and you can be a part of, or a voice to that, and being able to provide some feedback for for your very local community. So just get involved.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Lee Summit Rundown. See you next time.